Well, we have everyone packed in here. We got Joey over here and Russ in the back. I was able to get him in, but I had to pick him up to get him in here. But if you guys didn't see my last video, I'm staying at a free campground in Missouri, right on a lake. It's very beautiful. But my trip was cut short because we found this dog. This is Russ, and we're gonna save him because he was left here and he's been here for 2 months just scavenging different sites. So we're gonna bring him to my dad's house, which is where we were going originally, but I was gonna plan here to be here for like a whole week, but instead we're cutting it short to a couple days because I want to get him into a warm home. It is getting cold and it's actually raining right now, and he would have just been out here sleeping outside in the rain. Breaks my little heart. So we're gonna save him. We're gonna take him to my dad's, and he's gonna take him to the vet and get his hair cut and make him smell pretty again because he smells really bad. All right, we're going to Kansas City, which is like 2 hours from here. Yeah, but first I need to go help this guy jump his car because he fell asleep with his lights on. So let's go. There we go. Is that good? All right.
Okay, so I have girls.
Uh-huh.
Boys on the ends, girls in the middle.
Okay.
So anytime you're gonna jump somebody off, always leave yours running.
Okay.
So it doesn't drag yours down.
Okay.
And the other thing is, not that you don't need to get out because I know what I'm doing. But
Okay.
you always want to make sure that they hook the negative to the negative, positive to the positive.
Okay.
Negative to negative on yours and positive to positive on yours.
So black to red to black to red?
Correct.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Alrighty, Joe. This is the beautiful lake we were staying on. It is absolutely beautiful here, and I will definitely be coming back, but we just I didn't want to stay with Russ with me because it's too cold outside. It's just getting too cold overnight. The other night it got down to like 35. I wasn't here at the time, but he was, because he had been here for 2 months, which is just devastating to think about. So yeah, it's just getting too cold. The last couple nights it's been 45 and 50 last night, so those are the 2 nights that I had him with me, because he's just too big to fit in here while we're sleeping. I felt so horrible, so I was like, you know what, we're cutting our trip short. We're gonna get up to Dad's house and we're gonna give him a forever home. Alright, you guys, we are almost to my dad's house. He is not home. He is at work, so I'm just gonna be meeting his girlfriend, who I knew when I was a child. Haven't seen in probably like 25 years, so But they're a couple now, so she used to babysit me when I was a kid, and her ex-husband was my dad's best friend, if you guys want a little background. All right, let's figure out where this house is. Well, we've been here for about an hour. I took a shower and he seems to be making himself right at home. Oh my goodness, little Russ, he's such a good boy. He must be so tired. I honestly don't know if he's ever been in a house before. Somebody's getting a bath.
Probably is loving this right now. On his head too, a little around his neck.
I don't want to get in his eyes.
Did you get a bath, bud? So fresh and clean?
You gotta feel better, I would think.
Buddy. And Joey got his toy too. These are happy boys, huh? Get it, Joe. Get it, Joe. Who's that crazy boy? All right, Russ, you ready to go to the vet for the first time ever? You probably are not gonna like it, but don't worry, you're gonna be fine and you're gonna feel better. Look at that face. Where are we going? Yep, we're taking him to the vet now. Okay, here we go. Let's see, we can just park right here. I'm not really sure what the parking situation is here.
Get all anywhere?
A little bit. I did give him the flea medication, but I didn't see any bugs on him.
Were they down?
And we checked for ticks and like dug in his toes and stuff. And
Okay. Doesn't look like he's itching too much around there. Maybe is that it? That's good. So yeah. Okay. I will let him know that he's itching a little bit. Could be seasonal too.
yeah, he's such a good boy. Well, you guys, he has a clean bill of health so far. They are running some blood work to make sure he doesn't have like heartworms and Giardia, something like that. They're just gonna double check on that for me, but they said everything else looks really good. It cost me about $200 to get the test and all of the shots done. They also gave me a free sample of heartworm medicine, and also, what was the other one that they gave me? A free flea and tick medication. I do have one more month also, so I'm good for another 2 months for flea and tick medication. It just makes me feel so happy that he was given a clean bill of health. So we're at Petco right now, and I'm gonna go buy him some things. Welcome to Petco. It's Russ's first time at a Petco. You ready? Let's go inside, buddy. Let me get you a name tag too, bud. He's a little confused. Is your first time in a Petco, bud? Is your first time? Do we need a new toy? We gotta find you a bed. I need a new name tag. Maybe a new toy. Right? A potato with those eyes.
Oh my goodness. He is like a sack of potatoes. Oh, that's so cute.
Bud, did everybody love you in there? Did you get so many lovies from all those people? Everyone stopped to come say hi to him, and it was so sweet. He was just like belly in the air the whole time, getting tons of belly rubs. We got him a new bed. We got him some toys. I got him some pumpkin treats because he's got a upset tummy right now. And then we also got him this. And he will have a name tag now. Russ. Me. Well, as you can see, I'm in my van now. I'm actually in New Mexico, which it's been over a week since I've left my dad's. And I really wanted to update you guys on what happened with Russ. I tried recording during the time it was happening, but it was a lot of tears. It was a lot of emotions. And I didn't know how to put it into words without just bawling. So essentially, due to unforeseen circumstances that I really can't talk about on YouTube here, my dad was unable to keep the dog. And I felt horrible. Like, I felt so guilty. I'm going to start crying already. I felt guilty because I really wanted to give him a forever home. I really did. And so after finding out that my dad couldn't keep him, I really wanted to try and keep him myself, but I live in a minivan and it's just not possible. And so I did try to take him to a shelter, but because I am from out of state, they wouldn't accept him anywhere. I tried so many different places, especially focusing on ones that are like no-kill shelters, because I would feel so guilty if he went somewhere and got euthanized, right? So I had to make sure that it was a no-kill shelter where they get doggy playtime, and I just wanted to make sure that he was in a good place. So I brought him with me, and we lived on the road for a week. We went to Kansas. We drove through Colorado and then made it into New Mexico. And I was calling different shelters all around those areas, and nobody would take him. And I was like, it shocked me so much that it was just hard to get him into a shelter. Like, I couldn't believe like that was what was happening. Especially because him being so young and so sweet and so timid, like anybody would have loved to have that dog. And so it came down to me being in New Mexico and trying to find shelters out here. And everybody was telling me, because you're not a resident, you can't bring him to the shelter. So you'd have to either go to where you're from, which is Oregon, which is where my residence is, and bring him to a shelter there. But then they probably wouldn't accept him because you did not find him in Oregon. It was just the most backwards thing that I've ever had to deal with. It was very frustrating. It was very emotional. And so, like I said, I've tried recording different times of like trying to explain what was going on and what was happening, because I love that dog. I mean, I spent a couple weeks with him, with my dad, and then, you know, the week with him in the van, and it was really hard, especially because it was getting cold. And so I did have to have him sleep in the van, which it did work kind of, but he didn't like it. He doesn't like being in the van. Like Joey loves being in the van. When we're outside, most of the time he's like trying to get back into the van, and I'm like, come on, we're outside, it's nice out, come hang out here. But Russ just wanted to be outside the whole time. So I got a 40-foot lead for him and attached it to my tow bar, and you know, he just hated it. He hated being on the lead, and he just wanted to be free, which is understandable. So I spent that week that we were living in the van trying to get him into a shelter anywhere. And as long as it was a no-kill and, you know, the people sounded friendly, like I didn't care what shelter it was, as long as somebody would take him. And so the way that I ended up having to do this is I have friends in Albuquerque. So I drove to Albuquerque and met up with them, and then had them take him into a shelter in Albuquerque, because they are a New Mexico resident. So really they just had to bring him in and say, hey, we found this dog. And so that's what we did. So I drove to Albuquerque, and I just want to give a big shout out to Jen and Nicole for really helping me with that situation, because I kind of bombarded them. They're actually getting ready to move in a couple weeks. So I really wanted to, you know, I felt really bad just like showing up with this dog, be like, hey, can we go to the shelter so we can get this dog in? But they were very, very generous, and I ended up staying the night there with them. So thank you, Jen and Nicole. Like, gonna start crying again. Thank you so much. You helped me so much. I really wish that I could have kept him because he is such a sweet dog. He was so sweet and just the best. And somebody is gonna make him very happy and loved. And he just he did so good in my dad's house. So I think that he's gonna be a great house dog. He's gonna be a great house dog. And hopefully it's somebody with a family because he loved kids, and hopefully they have other dogs because he loved playing with other dogs. And hopefully they have a big fenced-in backyard that he can just run free in, because he did not like being on a leash. He didn't like being on a lead. And he didn't like being in the van. And I wanted to be able to give him the best life that he could possibly have. And it wasn't with me. And I had to really take my heart out of it, because as much as I would have loved to keep him, it wasn't the best situation for him. And so we did find a shelter that took him in, and it's a no-kill shelter, and they have a big play area where the other dogs get to play together, and he's gonna be happy, and he's gonna be warm, and he's gonna be fed, and that's really all I could ask. That's the reason why Joey's moving around, moving the camera. But really, that's all I could really ask, right? That was what I was gonna do when I found him in the first place, was take him to a shelter, so that he would not be living at that campground that he was at for 2 months in the winter when nobody is going to be camping there and not giving him scraps. You know, he wouldn't have survived. And so he is now in a happier place in the shelter in Albuquerque. And I have no doubts in my mind that somebody is going to adopt him. They did check him for a chip when we went to the vet, so he wasn't chipped. And the shelter that we took him to said that if he isn't chipped after 4 days, he is put up for adoption. And since he's not chipped, he is going to be put up for adoption very soon. And it was very hard. The entire thing was very emotional, and it put a drive in me that made me want to eventually have a dog rescue, because I was absolutely blown away at how hard it was to just get him into a shelter. If you're traveling and you find a stray dog, what are you supposed to do? You know, how all these places that require you to be a resident of that state in order to surrender a dog to their shelter, it just doesn't make sense to me. Wouldn't you want the dog to be off the streets? I don't know. It was very, I just didn't understand. I get it, all the shelters, all over the U.S., all over, not just in New Mexico and not just in Missouri. All the shelters are over full. They're too full. So I get it. I get the fact that, you know, you can't keep every single animal that comes your way, but it was just so shocking to me. But, you know, in the end, I felt a lot of guilt, and I still have that little bit of guilt left that I couldn't provide for him what he needed. And I wish that I could have. And eventually, when I have my plot of land somewhere, I can start my own dog rescue and take in all the strays that I want. I really wish that I could have done more for him. But we did take him to the vet, and we got him looked at. We got him his meds that he needed, and, you know, found out that he is in good health, which is awesome. And it just means that when he goes to the shelter and they find out, oh, he's in good health and he's a good dog, that he will be easily adopted. And I wish him the best, you know. And it's sad because from here on out, I'm not going to know what happens with him. I'm not going to know who gets him, or hopefully, you know, they have that big yard that I'm dreaming of for him, that he can run around and play with other dogs. And I really, really wish that I had more room for him, because I would have loved to keep him. He was so sweet. He was going to be a really great dog, and I really wish that things would have worked out with my dad. I really do. But in the end, I just have to keep telling myself that we saved him, essentially, even if he's not with me. We saved him from living at that campground during the winter. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and update you guys on what had happened, because it has been a very long, emotional couple of weeks, and at least we know he is in a better place and he's not going to be scrounging for food. And even in the couple weeks that we had him, he was already looking so much better after he got a bath and after he was fed every single day for a couple weeks. You could tell like his ribs weren't showing as much and his hip bones weren't showing as much. And you know, he did have worms when we got him. We gave him a dewormer and he got that all cleared up. You know, it's just, part of me feels really good that we helped, and then the other part of me just feels so sad that I couldn't do more. But I want to say thank you to everybody who has been so supportive and loving and just so kind about the whole thing, and the people in my Patreon who have helped me. I just thank you guys so much. Thank you. You know, Russ is going to find a good, loving home. He's not going to be Russ anymore, but he's going to find somebody who's going to love him just as much as I did. Thank you so much again to everybody who's been so supportive and so kind, and all the loving comments. I got so many comments that just like touched my heart so much. So thank you. I really appreciate it. So if you're new to this channel, this is not my normal content. Normally I'm in my van and traveling. But yeah, we had a little bit of a intermission there with Russ and figuring out how to take care of him and where to take him. So we finally got it all figured out, and now he's going to be happy and warm and fed, and he's going to get the love and the care that he needs that I was not able to give him, as much as I wish that I could. So thank you so much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, definitely subscribe below. I'll also put a link for my Patreon in the description box in case you're interested in helping support this channel. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Good job, Russ! Get it, Russ! Get it! Get it! Oh my gosh, he is so cute! You're the cutest boy!